Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
How are you, Steve?
Yeah, it's dark, cloudy out today.
Yeah, it's a little crappy today. We got the green screen up behind us, and we'll determine at the end of the show if I know how to change that green screen to something else, or it could just be a green wall today.
That brightens the color up, makes my blue shirt pop.
It's true. I wore my Ninja Turtle shirt today.
I wore a Texas shirt.
That's a surprise.
And a Texas-style hat with a "Come and Fish It" motto on it instead of a "Come and Take It."
I like it. Oh, that was my phone.
Let me breathe heavily into the microphone as I laugh through my nose.
That didn't happen. It was, yeah, you know.
This is classic. I don't know how we're not getting picked up by like a news station with the way that we check our phones. We ramble on about
stuff.
Random stuff that
I know it's we would have started the show a lot earlier, but spent at least an hour looking for stories for today, and then try not to have we don't want to have a negative show every day. Like yesterday was kind of a heavy show, right? So it's like, hey, let's find some good things, and it's just not a good day for good stuff to find. So we got some stuff, but yeah, it's harder. It's like crap, and then. No Jeff Miller this week because he's sick, and then I haven't heard back from Chief. I don't know. Maybe Chief's not going to come in this week either. Then what we're going to do?
Talk to each other, I guess.
We'll have to get some kid to dress up as a police officer or something, pretend he's Chief, or figure something out.
Put you over there.
Do like a back and forth thing. I see you got some more fence done.
I did.
You're getting there. It looks good.
Yeah, I wanted to work on it this morning, but it was sprinkling out. I didn't want to get wet. And it was kind of cold. It was in the 50s.
Yeah, it's only going to be like high of 60 today. And, of course, we have shooting league today. And I'm like, and I don't shoot well when it's, like, nice out. How am I going to shoot if it's raining? Like, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Wendell had said to me, he's like, hey, if it rains too much, usually I cancel it. Like, if paper's going to get wet and fall apart. But this could be our advantage. Like, what are you talking about?
We showed up. We should get full credit.
We should get handicap points.
Hey, I like it because it's so close to my house. Because I really am a hermit. I don't really like going out much.
I've never been there, and I wasn't sure where it was, and then I managed to find it. You had went to Claremont.
Yeah, you're like, it's past Foster's painting. So I turned left, and that was
my bad completely.
The Claremont dump, and then I parked. There's like a turnaround, so because you said I'm almost there, so then I was looking for you, and then you turned so much further down the road I couldn't see you. So then I drove up. I was like, well, maybe it's on the right hand side because that's what the map had said originally. It was past Beaver Pond on the right, and it's on the left.
It's on the left, yeah.
So, but I went to the right next to Beaver Pond and went up and. I think there's like a little farm up there. You can buy some potted plants.
Past it or before it?
Past it, like going towards Claremont, like over by Foster. Because you told me the Fosters.
The old Claremont Road.
Yeah, it's like diagonal.
Yeah, St. Albans is up there and stuff.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, no, it's not out there.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Well, listen, I've been here my whole life and I didn't know where it was, so I can't give you credit for it.
It's kind of odd that it's. I would think it'd be like towards Goshen or something out that way.
I know. I mean, it's in a perfect spot, surrounded by an old big dump and a current one that's all capped over. And yeah, it's a nice little setup though. Like concrete backer and there. Like it's a nice little place. And I guess town owns it. That's why the rec center puts it on, and then Pinnacle and Jim Burrows and John Hooper and them run it. So I noticed Jim shot a 284 out of a 288.
I noticed that John did not shoot, or he didn't have a score.
Yeah, I don't know if he does or not.
His name was on the list.
I saw his name.
He and Rob and about 7 others had zeros, so you're ahead of some people.
By virtue of them not showing up. I also noticed yesterday that Noise R Us got a big old shipment of fireworks in. So let's have a repeat of last year's 4th of July.
No.
Last year we had a big party on 4th of July, and me and Steve drank. And
yeah, the fireworks kind of went off with a bang, literally.
Was the last year the one?
That was the one where one
blew
misfired and it blew all the rest of them up.
Oh yeah,
that started a chain reaction.
Yeah, Yeah.
You were going to have like a finale, or you had it all planned out, spaced out properly. You thought? And
Yeah, because I go up, I see Shannon at Noise R Us. I said, "This is how much I want to spend. Put a show together for me." So she'll take whatever your budget is. Like mine was $1,000. So put this together, and it's always awesome. Always, no matter what. So even if you have $500, she can do the same thing, or whatever. If you have 10 grand, she can. I mean, whatever you have, she can do it. And because she knows like what they do. A lot of times I'll do one. I'm like, man, I wish I remember that name because this one was just like awesome. I seem to always forget, but I'll be like this year I'll go up again and be like, hey, I want to put a fireworks show together. And so this last year I chained them together so that one would just go to the next one. Year before I lit them individually, which sucks because you can't. First of all, when you're letting fireworks off, you really don't get to enjoy them like you do if you're just watching. But yeah, one went off, fell into another one, and then started it all. And so it's really just like huge grand
yeah, but
finale.
it was awesome though.
It was cool.
Entertaining. I didn't realize you spent that much money.
Yeah.
I guess I should have because there were a lot of fireworks.
Yeah,
the whole trailer.
The whole trailer was around the thing of it. Yeah, I think I don't know if it was last year, or the year before. One of them, like me and Alan are down there and lit it. You know, we stood back like 10 feet, but it like come out the side, and I got totally hit with a piece of like whatever that was inside of it. You know, and I was like, that freaking hurt.
Yeah, that happened to me in St. Louis. Like something fell back down and like landed right on my leg and burned a hole through my shorts.
Last year,
still have those shorts.
TJ got hit by a piece of
frugal.
concrete somehow.
Really?
Yeah, because she was like, "What the hell happened?"
Oh yeah,
Remember?
Nikki did too. Like on her head, they were talking about
Something.
it the other
Yeah.
day.
Usually, like if you're under them, like stuff rains down on you. That's normal. But yeah, I was
We
like,
were pretty far away though. Like
yeah, you guys were like, I don't know, 200 feet or so. I don't know whatever it is, but yeah. So if you're looking for fireworks, I mean, it's a little soon for the 4th, but
did you get did we getting advertising for free again today?
We'll talk to him and be like, hey, we've been talking about your
Twin State
fireworks.
Paving.
Yeah, the only ones that have advertised and pay us to do the show. Not much, but yeah, they're nice enough to say,
Appreciate
hey.
them.
And she was like, yeah, we just keep going because the month ended yesterday, you know. And I'm like, oh, cool. She's like, you didn't get any hate email, have you? And I'm like, trust me, you're going to get hate email about us, not the other way around.
Right.
So
I
today,
don't think we say anything too crazy on the show. I think we just point out the obvious that if you look close enough, you'll see it. If
Yeah.
you want to see it. If you don't want to see it, you can live blindly and think that everything's kind of just normal, but it's really not.
no, I think like as we were talking yesterday about how it's been easier and easier to find like positive stories from Newport, but also when we're doing the show, it's so easy to find so many negative stories about the country, you know, like things going on in the country. And I'm like, so it's tough for us too because we're kind of surrounded by a lot of negativity, and you know, it's like, damn, like, is it really as bad as it is? I mean, I don't think it's necessarily as bad as it sounds, but
I mean, there's some bad
It's-
things. I
there's
mean,
some
at the
bad
end of the
stuff.
day, like what we always say is focus on the town and the state.
yeah, it's very important, like local, like your community. So you can change your community, you know, you could change your state. That's a lot harder than the community, but the federal government, it's like, that's a
Yeah,
huge
unless
challenge.
you go and, I mean, Washington, D.C. literally is built on a swamp, and it is kind of swampy to steal the verbiage of the last administration.
Yeah, it's a swamp.
But I mean, it's always been called a swamp, but
yeah,
because it's actually built on a swamp.
makes sense now, actually. Build a swamp for all the swamp creatures that live there.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Today's a big day for high school softball in Newport. They're hosting the Belmont Red Raiders at 4 o'clock, and I guess it's rain or shine.
Oh wow.
So go out, support them. They were let's see, Newport's the 5th seed, and Belmont's the 12th seed. So, yeah, get out, support them. They're in the playoffs. Hopefully they'll continue to beat them here and keep going. Also, the Lebanon will be at the middle school, or Lebanon will be in Newport for middle school softball in the B field, which is the field behind that. And then the middle school baseball team is going to Lebanon today. Both those games are at 4:45. So
Oh, nice.
varsity at 4, and then that, and then the athletic awards that was scheduled, I think, for this week has been rescheduled for next Thursday.
Does it start
The
at 5 o'clock or at the same time as the school board meeting?
Yep,
I have a feeling it does.
it does.
That'll be one more thing I miss.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to point out once again that I've said how many times that the meeting time needs to change.
You and Mr.
Just
Kessler have
saying.
shown up. Mr. Kessler's shown up 2 or 3 times and requested it, and
Yeah.
you've said that it would be better. And then I don't know. Like,
How's that going, by the way? We making progress?
I have no idea.
No.
Has it changed yet?
Nope. So, yeah, a lot of people last meeting didn't show up again, and then apparently I kind of get called out. You get called out for maybe people don't want to show up because of the way the meetings are, and I'm like, no, people didn't show up before, so nope, that point's not valid.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. But
No, a lot of things don't make sense to me lately. I'm starting to think maybe it's just me, but
no, I mean, well, I'm going to tell you what I mean. I got to stop saying I mean. That's like in the social zeitgeist right now to say like and I mean. What I'm saying to you, Tim, is that even with, like we had somebody come and present something and he was concerned of whether or not he was going to be able to make it in time because he works and he had to drive from
yeah,
a different county over to present. And so anyway, it's difficult. So as an individual, I'll keep pushing for a later start time because I don't know. My thought on it is that start them at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then if no one still decides to show up, then okay, then maybe it is because negativity or whatever was implied the other night. No, I know. Well,
I've been watching.
but I'm
board
saying
meetings
so
since,
the
like,
way that I
98.
I'm just saying, as a reasonableist and as someone who wants people to participate, and we've had people asking us to move it back
Maybe
to a
if
later
I-
start time. But
Yes,
then,
a lot of people.
if people still don't show up, and granted, it's going to be kind of different with it being the summer months, right?
Right. Even
So
it's
then
harder.
it's going to be even harder to get people to show up. But if you move it in like the fall, let's say the fall, you move it to because there's only like 3 meetings during the summer, like 1 for June, 1 for July, and 2 for August. So June and July, I would say.
There's
are,
2 in June.
Nah, that was a misprint.
So there's not one another and then like
I don't think so.
no.
There's supposed to be 1 in June, 1 in July, and 2 in August.
Huh. No. You think you do 2 in? I could see July having 1. August, okay, now we're getting close to school again. June, I mean, you go to school until the middle of it, but whatever. Yeah, no, I think you need to like. Originally, I said 6:30 because that's when most regular meetings start, and someone was like, "Hey, maybe we compromise and say 6." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, that's better." You know, like don't get me wrong, when the meetings go long, it's nice when it does start at 5 because then you get out and it's like, hey, it's not actually like 11 o'clock at night or whatever. But at the same time, if people can't show up and you know someone that's there to present something and crap, I can't get there for 5 o'clock, like, duh, because people work, like.
Yeah, what I would recommend is for people who do want a later start time and they can't show up at 5 to ask us to start later, and to email all the members of the board. Our email is on the website.
Yeah.
So I would imagine if we had a lot of people email us, then it would generate more of a discussion than you and Mr. Kessler asking for it.
Should they put it in the headline, Mr. Morris said to email all of you?
No, I mean, I'm recommending if people want change, the best way to do it is to actively participate. And if you can't actively participate by showing up at 5, participate by emailing all of us and saying, hey, I want to participate, but I can't get there.
Yeah. Is this the next week meeting? Is that the meeting that the new super's coming in to check it out, introduce herself?
Yeah, but she'll be sitting in the back, like with you.
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to
yeah.
you.
Oh, so
If you're there.
Mara's there. So someone else would be there now. And I'm excited, though. I really am. I'm actually like generally excited that just change and sounds positive. We've heard good feedback from a few people. And I look forward to having conversations with her and then look forward to hopefully some really positive change coming into Newport. So I think we all want that no matter what. So.
Yeah, I think we all want good educations for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of education, so graduation's next Wednesday at 6 o'clock on the on the common, No, I'm sorry. I was reminiscing on the football field. So if you don't have tickets, there's all the people can come that want. You would be on the outside of the football field in the bleachers.
Right. So the football field's reserved for seniors who've given each of them gets a box, basically.
You get a box, and then
there's 10 tickets.
10 tickets per person. Weather looks good right now, so hopefully that continues. And because if not, it'll go to the Opera House, and you only get 5 tickets per person, and which really sucks when that happens.
Yeah, Zeta's excited. My brother, his wife, and kids are going to be there, and nice. I think some of Nikki's family's coming in.
We still got to reach out. We need to do this soon because once plans get into motion, it's hard to turn them, but they need to turn that so that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. One of us is going to have to do that.
Probably you.
I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
Well, it'll look like undue influence if I do it.
So it might happen?
No, I'm sure they have their reasons. It might be the way the sun sets. I don't know. You'd have to.
That's true. All right. I'll look into it. I'll try to fix the.
But when we did our graduation, actually, it was like that, now that I'm thinking about it. Because I was sitting facing the end zone, and I walked up the stage.
But doesn't it make sense when people in the audience that would be sitting in the bleachers wouldn't have to turn like this? They would just like look straight out, like if you're watching a football game, like, that makes sense.
Yeah, but then the backs of the kids are to you while they're sitting there.
You turn the kids so they're like this. Like,
you going to camp them at an angle? What are you going to give them, like a 47-degree angle camp there?
Sure. Do I have to set this thing up?
I think you need to draw it out, and I got some graphing paper for my garden planting upstairs.
No, I don't need graphing paper. I just need let's not get this overcomplicated.
That's a good rain coming down. I wish I had all my plants in the ground right now.
And then on June 25th, we talked about this a lot. Excited about this. Hoping, obviously, the weather's good. Is Wings and Wheels at Parlin Field from 11 to 2. And that 5K Stavis Stray 5K is at 10. So if anyone out there is going to do that, we're going to sit this one out. But
make sure you sign up. Read the fine print and sign up to get your T-shirt.
We don't know if
there is a T-shirt. I don't know. There may not be a T-shirt.
Probably not. I don't know.
Usually, most 5Ks, you get a T-shirt. You get something.
Listen, I signed this up. It just didn't work. It's not my fault.
Oh, when I signed Nikki up, I had an issue with it, too. Remember? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it did it for me, too. And then
somehow I figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, somehow.
With your help, with your tutelage, after you did it and it failed. Hey, we've got to have some fun, man. If we can't pick at each other. I mean, we're about to sit here and try to find good news stories, and there's not very many.
No, I didn't find any.
That's what I thought.
The good news is always at the beginning of the show, and then
it's the local stuff. That's pretty good.
Right, because I don't look for negative local stories anyways, but I mean, if I did see one, we would
we've
discuss
had some.
it.
We talked about Maple Street.
Yeah.
That was a negative story for a while. Now it's a positive story because they finally fixed it.
Yeah, it's usually the beginning of the show is like the local stuff. It's the stuff that, like, most.
This is when everybody stops listening to us right about Meow.
You're right about Meow? Yes, correct. All right, I have the meme of the day. This is one I chose. We'll use yours tomorrow, the one I found, earlier there. So it says, never fight until you have to, but when it's time to fight, you fight like you're the third monkey on the ramp of Noah's Ark, and brother, it's starting to rain. That's pretty true. You have to fight for what you want. Not always physically, but you have to fight for it.
Yeah, you don't give up.
And if there's only 3 getting on that boat,
2.
Well, 2, yeah, and 3 weren't, yeah. You know what I meant. Anywho.
I flustered you by picking on you there with the registration for the race. But we still got T-shirts because they had extras.
Because we got lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky.
Yeah. Speaking of registration, you got to register your vehicles this month. I have to register mine.
3? Yeah, I got 3 on the... I got to check my budget and make sure I budgeted that.
I don't know. I got a few. I don't know. Still haven't inspected my black truck for a year now. Alicia's like, hey, isn't that supposed to be orange? I'm like, are you a cop now? that why I don't mind it. And I was at my appointment yesterday. Oh yeah, by the way, happy birthday to my friend Linda, who's also my massage therapist. 34 today. I'm like, you're so lucky. She's like, why am I lucky? I'm like, you're 34. You're gonna be 34. And she's like, yeah, but it's older than. I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna be 39. She's like, yeah, but we're both getting old. So I was heading there yesterday.
It's crazy how fast.
I know, it's crazy. And like, so a state trooper went by me, and I'm always like, oh shoot. And I don't speed in the truck and whatever. I don't. I mean, it's an old truck. Like, it could fall
Well, I
apart.
usually don't speed,
Oh,
no
general.
matter which car I'm driving.
You don't ever speed.
Every once in a while, I'll find myself going down a hill, and it's usually right where the speed traps are at every town in the state, where it drops from 50 to 35, and they always do it on a downhill.
Right.
Like
Same.
the statey that hides out, or not hide, but usually he's parked off to the side there on that hill in Sunapee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paris.
And like they're down at the hill here in Newport.
Hey, I was coming back from my appointment one day though, and he was nice and like just flashed his lights real quick because I was like, shoot, it's going like 60. Like, slow down. I was like, hey, I appreciate that. It's just a hey, slow down, not a hey, I'm going to pull you over and give you a ticket or pull you over. Like,
Well, I read an article, we're not talking about it today, but basically
Why not?
they're saying to stop giving all kinds of little ticky-tack, whatever you want to call it, tickets and, police encounters over little minor things, and I would assume that that's kind of minor.
yeah. Yeah, and that's always thing. Like, if you get pulled over, like, here's the thing that irritates me. I've known people that get pulled over and they're like irate, flipping out, blah blah blah. Like, first of all, he's just doing your job, and obviously you're doing something wrong. So, in my experience, anyways, if you're nice, you're polite, you're not a d-bag. Most of the time, they'll give you a warning unless you're doing something really.
That's not true in all cases. In South Carolina, I
I'm
was
talking,
driving.
No. I'm talking
All right.
New Hampshire, Newport, but just no, just New Hampshire. No. I've been pulled over by. Well, no, I was pulled over by a Massachusetts state trooper, which, in my experience before that, they're real deep. But like this guy was.
They're like they are in the movies,
Yes.
Staggies or however they say
Yeah.
it.
So I was headed to
I was thinking of The Departed.
Connecticut in my white truck, and I was talking to Andrew, and I wasn't paying attention. I was like, I guess I was going 80, and I look over, and I'm literally passing a state trooper, and I'm like, oh crap! And this was a few years back, so I get pulled over, but he was like the coolest guy ever. He come up to me the right side, and he's like, you know why I pulled you over? And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, and I passed you. And he's like, you realize that, I'm sure you've heard, like, state troopers, we have a huge ego. And he's like, there's no way I was going to let you pass me, and super cool guy. He's like, come back. So listen, I don't like giving hardworking people a ticket. Just, slow it down. And I was like, thank you so much. Because oftentimes that's what it is, right? You just don't pay attention. And if you're polite and, just don't lie, you just whatever, a lot of times they'll give you a warning. But if you're like a jerk about it and be like, why are you pulling me over, and don't you have anything better to do, and blah blah blah, they're gonna give you a ticket, as they should. Like,
Yeah.
just respect the freaking
I didn't
people.
talk like that to that guy in South Carolina that pulled me over. I do know that I was in the slow lane where it went from like 60 down to 45 around the curve, and all kinds of people were passing me. And I'm pretty sure he pulled me over because he didn't like my Texas license plate.
Maybe.
Like, I was in the slow lane, going slower than everybody in the fast lane, and he still decided. And I guess we were all speeding because it changed. I didn't know the road very well, and he gave me a ticket. And I'm very polite.
Were you though?
Yes.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Or officer. I probably said sir at first, and he probably corrected me. That's probably what ticked him off. He gave me the ticket because he's probably like, oh, I'm not a sir. I'm a...
Me and you got pulled over one day. Remember, I had a light out in my truck, the same one that Andrea had told me about, but I forgot because I think she got pulled over for it. I've since fixed that, but he was cool too. I'm like, sorry about that. Like, most of the time, like,
No,
they're not the bad
Nikki
guys. Like,
rarely gets tickets. She got one in St. Louis. She gets pulled over all the time.
listen, women don't usually get tickets.
I mean, that's a generalization that I'm sure that...
My ex-wife has probably been pulled over 200 times, and I am not exaggerating that. She's never gotten a ticket.
My sister-in-law gets plenty of tickets. I think it's New York drivers.
Could be.
They drive differently. They have a whole different approach to driving.
We need to have this conversation with the chief if he comes in tomorrow.
Ask him about if he.
What's the psychology behind why don't women get as many tickets as men?
He'd probably pull out a stat and say that's
That's
just
probably actually false, and men get more
He's like-
tickets, and that's our experience, and it's one-sided, and yeah. But anyways, you get pulled over, just be polite, and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I messed up. Like the chief says, people love an apology. Just apologize. Hey, I'm sorry. Maybe you have an excuse, maybe you don't. Like Alan got pulled over last night on the interstate going 100 by a cop, and he was headed to the vet place. I don't know the name of it, the one up in Leb, because Max, he has a husky who is dumb. I'm sorry, the dog is dumb, but got into a porcupine again. 150 quills in its face. 150. So the cop, I guess, escorted him there or something. I don't know, but I still don't think that it's probably necessary to go that fast. But
Do you have his flashers on?
knowing Alan, who knows? He probably had his freaking light bar on, and most people don't
That's
know.
a lot of quills because we pulled
That's a lot of
8
quills.
out of JJ a couple times, 8 or 9.
So somewhere in Goshen right now, there's a porcupine running around, bare ass naked with no quills.
Hey, what do you roll over?
I don't know how many quills they got, but 150. Holy crap!
Devin's gotten rid of 2 off of our property in the last 48 hours.
Quills?
Porcupines.
Is that legal?
I said he got rid of them.
Oh, he trapped them and got rid of them.
And then there was a mom with 3 babies that he left alone. That's right out in the front yard there by the mailbox.
He had a huge turkey across the way the other day. Of course, turkey season ended yesterday.
He's been looking for that turkey every morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
and I was gonna have to wait to fall, but
How does that work, by the way? The license. So the tag. So you get 1 or 2 for the year, or is it per season?
no. So the spring season is the season they've already said. Sorry, it's been the month of May,
Right.
from the best I remember. And you can only get a Tom or Jake, so it has to be a male because it's their breeding season. In the fall, you can get, I believe, a Tom and a hen if you didn't get anything during the spring. If you got one in the spring, then you can only get one. So you're only allowed 2 that whole year.
Okay, so then maybe that's why. Because I think
Yeah.
Zeta had said that he might have had a chance or whatever, but he was
Yeah,
wait
there's
till fall.
Yeah, in the fall, in the fall he could go after try to get that one, but in the fall it's only a week long. Unless you shoot it with a bow, I think is the whole season. Which hitting a turkey with a bow is a little harder, probably.
little Robin Hood action.
Yeah, I shot 2 times. Last year, I shot twice at a turkey. And then Andrew bought me a new gun because apparently the gun I had, the choke wasn't. I don't know. And I was like, everyone knows at this point, my shooting isn't the greatest, obviously from the freaking shooting league. But my buddy's like, nah, you have to totally hit them in the head, because their bodies are fluffy with feathers and everything. It's like, oh, it's a feather, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh, man. But yeah, so that was that big turkey. I'm trying to think what other wildlife I've seen lately. Squirrels. I had this squirrel keep trying to shoot,
It's funny.
keep failing.
I sit out and watch
Usually.
out the window sometimes when I'm taking a break, drinking some iced tea or whatever, and
Some sweet tea.
the squirrels and the robins kind of hang out together in the yard. It's kind of funny watching them because they don't mind each other. They're not skittish, and I'm sure squirrels are like that with most birds because they're not, other than the hawk that's flying around or the falcon. I'm pretty sure I have a falcon. It looks like a falcon.
I saw. Remember, I was telling you over the weekend I pulled a dead possum out of the road, and first of all, those things are ugly, but like we said, they're good for ticks and whatever. And so I pull it outside the road because I don't if someone runs it over and someone's going to,
Yeah.
because somebody's going to think it's funny. And that's going to be nasty, smish all the road, and I'm going to have to drive through that how many times? And I'm like, no. So I pull out. But there was this big, I don't know, a vulture or something, because it was an ugly bird, but it was a good size one. I assume it was
Turkey vulture.
maybe, yeah, it was a good size. I've seen a lot of big birds around here lately.
They're all hovering around my yard for something.
Probably trying to get in the pond.
Maybe.
JJ, look out.
I called him over one day, but I think I told you the story, right? Where they swooped down and grabbed,
Yeah.
drove right alongside of me as I was driving down the driveway.
That's crazy.
Little critter was squirming in its
For the
talons.
record, the only reason I want to shoot the squirrel is because they're destroying like the roof of my house. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like squirrels or anything, because I do, but they're like in the roof and you can hear them out there eating the house, and yeah, it's not really a good situation.
Yeah.
But at the rate I'm going, it won't matter anyways because I couldn't hit the squirrel if I threw a freaking rock at it. So
Well, you trap that squirrel, then like 3 more will replace it.
probably
Probably the babies that are
in the roof.
in the roof and the all nice and warm and toasty.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, let's talk about some good news.
What you got?
Nah, just kidding. That's not good news. Paul Pelosi arrested for DUI, which is Nancy Pelosi's husband, who's the Speaker of the House. Paul Pelosi, 82, was arrested for DUI in California. Oh, in his Porsche. Nice. My guess is nothing will happen, of course, because, special privileges for certain people. But
Yeah, it's a 2-tiered justice system.
I noticed that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, with the acquitting of the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, who literally said the whole story was made up, but they still acquitted him. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the news for the last 2 weeks was basically that, the Clintons are going down, the campaign's going down. It made up the story. He admitted to making it up and told the FBI, and then they're like, nah, it's all right to lie to the FBI in this case.
Yeah. Me and you would go to jail, just saying.
Maybe not. Not if we had our soccer coach on the jury or whatever it was. Like, isn't there like some...
Maybe we should start donating to some, like DNC freaking...
Yeah, it might help us.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Huh. That might be the way.
Get us into that second-tiered justice system so that we can get away with...
Yeah, you're going to have to donate a lot of money then.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Oh, I know.
I'm good with that.
I've had experience in my family with if you don't donate, you don't get a response from senators or congressmen.
Yeah.
True story.
It's interesting, isn't it?
1993.
Yeah, even back then. It's way more corrupt now.
We don't seem to have gotten any donations from you, so I guess you don't really want that nomination.
'Cause that's what it takes to go to West Point, right? You have to.
That's what Lloyd Benson's office said to my family. They hadn't found our donations. They don't seem to have any donations on record from us.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
Does it surprise you though?
It does, because I was brought up to believe that if you work hard and do the right thing, life takes care of itself. And, not necessarily that it's easy, but you don't have to worry about much. But then whenever that's told to you, that opens up your eyes to a whole world of so all of my accomplishments mean nothing because there's not money attached to it.
Certainly seems that's how the world goes around nowadays. It's not okay though.
It's not.
No. So this next story I've got was actually from the Washington Post, my least favorite, New York Times probably, but Jeff Bezos' paper. But I like finding stories like this in the Washington Post and different places because, people will be like, oh, it's because you're conservative, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll read a freaking...
Are you a conservative? I thought you were just a patriot.
I don't know, yes, I'm a patriot, but...
Yeah, you have conservative values in some sense. There's
know.
not much left to conserve because it keeps
Well, yeah,
changing. The
sure.
Republicans don't conserve anything. They write angry letters and nothing happens.
That's true. Probably I'm not conservative because I'm really, really bad with money. That's true. So I'm probably very much not conservative. Because
You're just somebody that wants a fair and equal
yeah,
chance for everybody.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. I guess
Everybody who's a citizen or working to become a legal citizen
right. No,
in
absolutely.
our country, yeah. And I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody else anywhere else. I'd like for it to be a peaceful, beautiful world. But until you get rid of corrupt people who want more and more and they can't satiate their desire for more power and money.
Wait, I thought taking the Aunt Jemima off the maple syrup was going to bring world peace.
No, but
Oh.
Land O'Lakes butter.
Typical white people steal the Indians' land, get rid of the Indian. Like, that's exactly what happened on the butter. That's my favorite butter, just by the point that out too. But
well, I bought some after they had the whole. I didn't even realize that had happened, and my wife actually was like, "Why would you buy that? Their whole stupid campaign of whatever." And I was like, "Thank you for letting me know. I won't ever buy Land O'Lakes butter again."
I'm guilty. I still buy it.
I buy now the stuff made in Vermont. Is it Cabot or?
Cabot's good too.
Yeah. Is that cheese? I don't know.
No, they do butter. They have butter too. Cabot. They have butter. They have sour cream.
They have good sour cream.
Cabot's good stuff.
Yeah, so I try to stick local now because unless the local places are going to start burning down.
Yeah, more stories about that. There's things.
Is that on your list today?
It's not even on my list, but we can talk about it.
No, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and we were trying to figure out if there's a proportionate number.
It's made more national news now, though. Like, Joe Rogan's been talking about it.
Yeah, 3 million.
Well, Joe, yeah.
Produced like 3 million eggs, right?
Yeah, this place produced 3 million eggs. Which on the egg front, I mean, you can just get your eggs from a local farmer anyways.
How are your chickens doing?
Should be hopefully another week unless they're having eggs. So, like, we'll be covered then because they usually about 12 eggs a day with the 12 chickens, plus or minus. But you find out real quick how fast that adds up. Like, what's my family go through for eggs a week? Maybe a dozen sometimes. It depends, Like, if she's going to do, like, a breakfast thing or whatever, then...
we go through a dozen, and there's only 3 of us.
Right. So, but then it's 7 dozen a week. It adds up quick. So, I'll have eggs to...
put you a little thing. My buddy John Paul keeps telling me, and Zeta, that I need to put a little thing down there if this garden produces as much as I'm hoping it does.
The amount of work I've put into your garden this year, it better produce. Because last year, you did it all, and it produced like crazy. This year, I've joined in, and we made it huge. We did all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, it better pay off for us.
And I hope we get a good month of rain like we did last summer.
I don't know about that. Just water the damn thing with your freaking garden hose.
Yeah, well,
Come on, man. You don't need to wreck my summer. We don't need to rain that bad. It's going to rain today. Tomorrow will be nice. It's going to rain Friday. That's plenty. Then we can...
Maybe I could get some stuff planted tomorrow.
You have till Friday. You told me you're going to plant it. So. And it's going to rain on Friday, they said, so, or showers or something. So
no, just by the end of the weekend, because Nikki will start getting on to me because she'll start looking up planting dates, and then she'll blame me whenever... Yeah, it's this week.
I mean, I still haven't planned.
Last week was the frost date. This week is the moon date.
So it's based on the moon, right?
Well, last year I did it based on the moon, so I'm going to do it on the moon again this year. That's my story that I'm sticking to anyway.
Well, Monday we'll talk about if he's planted anything. So the headline reads, "Cry for help. CDC warns of a steep decline in teen mental health. More than 4 in 10 told health agencies they felt persistently sad or hopeless." And this is from the Center of Disease Control. Not that I trust a damn thing they say, but hey, let's go with their stories. I guess the reason I want to bring this up is obviously we talked about mental health in this country very much in the last 2 weeks because of mass shootings, and then this story originally I think came out there was a story, or the CDC called it an emergency or whatever in December, and then I found this story's date was March 31st, so it's fairly recent, and we're talking about mental health in kids and whatever, but I had said to you many times that watch this fall when COVID resurges, right? They'll try putting masks back on kids and start to do the same crap that they did. It's like, at what point do you have a brain in your head saying, wait, what we're doing to kids is more damaging than anything COVID could possibly do to them. So, I mean, you're more than 4 out of 10 are, persistently feeling sad or hopeless.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because whenever I went in front of the school board as a citizen, I don't know, was that last August? In the article, that was a scientific article.
Oh, you didn't have the facts.
I did have the facts.
That weren't the real facts.
And the facts were, and I'm pretty sure I actually got this one off, was that of all, 80% of the kids reported feeling scared, hopeless, that it's depressing to wear the mask, that it's irritating, like it affected them. It was in the research that I tried to read out. And so, hey, the articles are out there. I'm not a medical provider. I understand the English language, though, and it was very clear in that article. And it's not just about kids. It also talks about if you're going to go out and do something that your cognitive you're losing your cognitive skills decrease after about 2 hours of wearing a mask. And that's in everybody because of the lack of oxygen and everything else. And they've been able to study it because doctors have been wearing masks. You got somewhere to be?
Yeah, actually. I forgot about that.
Wrap this up?
Not yet. I don't have to leave for another.
But anyway, my point being is that I'm not a medical provider, but I can tell you what, if you instill fear in everybody, because think about how fearful people were. Walk up and down the aisles in a certain direction. Stay 6 feet away. If they don't have a mask on, they're trying to hurt you. They don't care about you. That's not how you. Whatever. Just people need not be afraid.
So we should probably we should print
From my point of view, and like I said, I'm not a medical provider. I'm just saying I read
but
the
you have
medical
enough
research.
common sense. I mean, this is right from the frickin' CDC. It doesn't take a genius to put the two together.
So they'll say that. Then they'll be like, you need to mask all your teenagers and keep them away from each other and don't let them social.
Yes, I guarantee that will happen.
I mean, people were getting shoved off the beach by cops. Like, people were getting arrested for going to the beach. Are you kidding me? Like, what is wrong? Like, I don't understand where people are sitting there going, yeah, arrest them. So, and most people probably aren't saying that, by the way.
Right.
However, why aren't they doing something else? Why isn't anybody speaking up? Why are people afraid to say, hey, I'm going to go to the beach and you're not going to stop me because how am I going to get sick at the beach? And if I get sick at the beach, that's my own risk that I'm willing to take.
Right.
Like, if I'm willing to not wear a mask and I'm willing to do whatever, like, that's on me. If I'm sick, I'm not going to get you sick. I'm not going to go out.
I mean, some of the thing, too, I was talking to my friend yesterday about was, she's like my liberal friend, right? So she's like that balance, right? A lot of times I'll say stuff and be like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, and vice versa. And Lydia's having some issues with someone in school right now, and it's like a bullying thing, which I'm not worried about Lydia, obviously, because Lydia can handle herself, whatever. But, I said to myself, man, I'm starting to see, and I talked to her about this, I feel like kids from our kids' age down, they can't get along with each other anymore. They literally just cannot do it. And I'm like, if we don't start putting change in here and teaching them coping mechanisms to deal with different things and whatever, you're going to have a whole generation of people that literally can't get along with each other. They just want to
everybody's
fight
out
each
victimizing each other.
Exactly.
Well, you can't talk to me because I'm this. You can't talk to me because I'm this. Well, you're all just kids. Yeah. You're all here to get an education. So.
Right. Shut the hell up and get an education. And I don't care about your little
personal
victim
opinion
crap.
Yeah.
No, but in a serious note, we've got to stop doing this.
Yeah, because what are they going to do? They're going to turn to the sign in the New York City subway and be like, well, if I use drugs safely, I can just step my way into it. And next thing you know, life gets easier because I'm strung out on opioids all day long.
Yeah. I mean, what is it?
There's my slippery slope argument, but it's not far-fetched.
Yeah, but you come back to the whole gun violence thing and once again, I'll say it a million times, is guns don't kill people, people kill people. But you want to know what the issue is in this country, you want to fix the issue, maybe you should start here fixing the mental health that almost half of our teenagers are having, either persistently being sad or hopeless. And again, look back, a lot of times we're hopeless. You look at the world and you're like, it's all going to hell. It's all just whatever.
It's because
and I'm
everybody's telling us all how horrible we are, and we're not. We're good people.
Yeah.
You got to believe in yourself that you're a good person. That you're going to make mistakes. We all do.
Right.
But you pick yourself up, and then you learn from that, and you try to do better the next time.
Right. Exactly. Get along with each other.
Get along with each other. Yeah.
I don't get it.
All right. So you're a victim. Good for you. Next.
Right.
I don't care about that.
Stop making yourself a victim, though.
Right.
Like, that's the biggest thing is people, I'm a victim. No, you're not. You're looking for an excuse to not put the same effort in the rest of the people.
Like you don't want to have to
Exactly.
make the effort. And so you can say, well, you can't make me do this because I'm protected, whatever. Like, no, we're all the same. We all want the same thing, which is to have a nice life, life, liberty, and property.
Equal protection under the law, equal rights under the law, equal opportunity, not results.
Right.
The results are not guaranteed.
You and I can go dig up a freaking sewer pipe, but I'm not going to know what I'm doing once I get to the source, right? You, on the other hand, know, like, I only need 2 or 3 things. It's going to take me hours. I might get to the same thing, but I'm not going to be as efficient.
Right.
And I'm not going to get paid as well. And I'm probably going to go out of business because I can take care of 1 customer, and then you can probably take care of 6 in a day, right? So, like, that doesn't offend me. It means I need to get better.
Right.
Do I need to slow you down so that we have equal competition?
Right. Got it. And that's, wait, there's another story I saw earlier, like, the school going to change their grading system, and I'm like, based on the color of your skin, it's going to be like the grading system would change, and I'm like, are
Who
you
would want that?
freaking kidding me? And you're going to, like, that's racism.
Yeah.
That's freaking racism. Like, how can it not be?
Yeah.
Oh, your skin's tan? Well, your scale is 80%. It's actually 100. Oh, you're white? It's 100. Oh, you're Asian? It's 110. Oh, you're black? It's 75. Or what?
Yeah. That's,
Most of this divide in this
I'm telling
country
you,
is coming
people-
out of that freaking school. I'm not saying Newport School. I'm saying school as in general, broad.
well, it's
US
a social
based schools.
experiment because that's where they go and they put all their social programs to figure it out and test and see how they can change society. Because they do that in the military too. Because it's a microcosm of the entire country. So
Yeah.
we always used to make comments about that.
All right. So,
We were the social experiment.
so just other story. Like, just do the last story of the day is like a funny thing. Because last week I forgot a haircut on Thursday at 9. Today it's 11, Wednesday, and I can't miss that again But anyways, this is just the headline. Environmentalist nitwit smears the Mona Lisa with cake while disguised as a woman in a wheelchair. Think about the earth. This is why I did this.
Well, see, that person's got to have some mental.
Did that person smoke crack?
I mean, what?
Seriously, how freaking stupid are you? Luckily, the Mona Lisa's covered with glass, so it couldn't do any damage. But these morons out there thinking they're making some sort of statement, like, I just don't
Hey, get yourself
people.
a podcast or a vlog, whatever we're doing here, and tell everybody to care about the earth.
Yeah.
And the 9 people who care about you will watch it and listen to you and give you feedback.
So the visitor said a man disguised himself as an elderly woman in a wheelchair, presumably to get closer to the iconic work of art in the area reserved for those with disabilities, and then stood up, smeared cream cake over the bulletproof glass protecting the painting. When the security guard converged upon him, the man, wearing a wig and makeup, threw 1 red rose at their feet, the network said. Video showed security guards escorting the activists away, but he had his say about the state of the planet amid his 15 seconds of infamy. Think about the planet, he said in French, according to the CBS News. There are people who are destroying the earth. Think about it. All artists think about the earth, and this is why I did this. Think about the planet. So, I don't know what that freaking cake smearing on that did, but...
Well, we're talking about it, so job well done, Cake Smear. You made it to the Tim and Steve show.
Yes, if that is your sense of accomplishment, you've made it. Because I don't know if we've got anyone listening to the show anymore. So, congratulations. But yeah, this 36-year-old moron, like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand people. Like,
Hey, I mean, at least it was a peaceful activist.
that's true. You gotta, yep. That's I'll tell you what, we'll give you credit for that one because
And we're talking about it, so like I said, job well done. I mean, this is exactly what I'm going to say. I got to stop myself from saying. I mean, what I'm about to say, Timothy, is that why would you smear cake, though? Why wouldn't you just stand out front with a sign and say, save the earth?
Eat cake. That's cake abuse.
I mean, how am I destroying the earth? I fly. Well, I've flown once in the last 3 years. I rarely go anywhere. I drive within about a 20-mile radius usually. I'm doing my part, so I guess his message was not for me.
You have a vegetable garden.
I have a vegetable garden. I did till it, so I'm sure there's some no-tillers out there that I'm hurting that ecosystem of the soil.
We just got a lot of crazy ass.
I'm about to make that soil better, though, as I mix in all kinds of organic nutrients because I don't spray it with anything, allegedly. Who knows how real the packaging is.
Yeah, I probably couldn't find it anyways. There's a fertilizer shortage, a beef shortage. Shortage. That should be if we had a word of the day, shortage should be the word of the day.
Shortage, doing it to ourselves.
Yep.
Self-inflicted.
Yeah, it's funny because you look back at all the things that stories we've read and stuff, and then you look at news stories that come up, and I'm like, this is because they did this. So it's
all
like
a chain reaction starting from.
It's like, okay, gas companies, we're going to start fining you for polluting the earth. So unless you reduce, everything 5% every year, and then we don't understand why gas prices are so high. The president has nothing to do with gas prices.
In this case, he does. He shut down the pipeline, and then he may not have reduced the amount of cargo on trains, but
it's perfect timing, isn't it, though? Beef shortage, lab-grown meat. Beef shortage, lab-grown meat. Fact check me there.
Lab-grown meat, and you need to eat seaweed and algae. I've read a story about
whale
that.
now?
Yes. You eat the bugs and the algae and the seaweed and all that stuff while everybody else, the elites, get to have their big formal functions, and then when you're there serving them, put your mask on, peasant.
Haven't these elites ever watched anything in history? When has that ever worked out?
I don't think they care because they think that they're going to win, and eventually they'll realize that they won't. We may all end up losing.
Maybe
there are a lot of civilizations that are gigantic, and they're finding exactly how populated they were. Like, where did all those people go?
It's true. Where did it link?
The flood.
Yeah. All right.
Leave it at that.
We gotta wrap this bad.
Leave on a good note. Beware.
It wasn't as negative a show today.
No, we have
mostly because I have to go have a haircut because I have more stories on here. But we can save those for tomorrow. Then we won't have to search as hard for stuff for tomorrow.
All right. Well, it was good talking with you, Tim.
Right. We got to leave on a positive note, though.
Positive note.
Saying goodbye. That's positive, right?
No. Well, it looks like the rain stopped for. It stopped for a little bit.
It stopped, but it's supposed to pick up later.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's still cloudy out. You can tell it's going to rain again.
Yeah.
I can feel it in the air.
Let's hope our green screen, I can figure that out so that it's not green. If tomorrow it signs back and the green screen's gone, then we'll know. I couldn't figure out how to switch it. But I know we're going to put behind us. Like, we should put an ocean behind us or something.
I don't know. Put the white
Statue
mountains.
limit. Yeah, we can do something. We can switch it halfway.
Put the
through
picture of the cannon exploding. I think I got a picture of it.
You
the
did?
other day.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
Or at least have it on video.
Right. All right, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. And yeah, well, Farming Friday's coming up on Friday. If Steve gets his fence done.
Yeah, we'll be able to put like a series of photos. I'm not recording it, so I don't get second guessed by everybody because I have a lot of rocks out there that I'm digging around. And
yeah, it's all good. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.